Rose as a family leader in Fences by August Wilson. Introduction. Fences is a play by American playwright August Wilson that was first staged in 1985. Set in Pittsburgh in the 1950s, it explores race relations and the evolution of the African American experience. In the center of the plot is the character of Troy, the head of the household, who changed his career as a baseball player to work as a garbage collector. Troy feels very bitter because of the segregation policy in Major League Baseball. His life can be called a respectable blue-collar life. He provides for his family, wife Rose, sons Corey and Lyons, and daughter Raynell. Rose supports her husband in everything but feels a lack of attention and recognition from him and also suffers from the pain of an unfulfilled life. This paper argues that Rose is a loving, caring, and independent woman, who acts as a true leader of her family. Rose as a family leader. Rose is not the central character, but she occupies a prominent place in the play. Even though Rose and Troy live in a patriarchal marriage, and Troy does not consult his wife, she actively influences family decisions. For example, when Troy forbids his son Corey to get a sports scholarship in college, Rose openly opposes him and stands up for Corey's interests. Rose realizes that Troy is channeling his anger and pain in the form of expectations for his son and his future. Therefore, Rose tries to influence Troy, although her persuasion does not give a significant result. To some extent, Rose is a weak character, but still, she successfully overcomes those obstacles that can be overcome. For example, when she insists that Troy give money to their oldest son, Lyons, Troy agrees. Therefore, Rose's leadership and fortitude are constant, although the results of her influence vary. Husband's betrayal. Rose's love and care cross the lines of self-respect when she adopts Troy's child from another woman. For Rose, this is a merciful and natural act, but she does not think of herself at all when she so easily agrees to forgive her husband's betrayal. Rose also shows a certain recklessness and self-reliance, because it is obvious that the child will be a constant reminder of the insincerity of the husband and will cause an unconscious negative attitude of the stepmother. It is interesting that to some extent Rose's character is similar to Troy's character. Presumably, the characters are alike because of the marital love that makes people closer through shared suffering and victories. Self-sacrifice and bitterness. Instead of saving the marriage and Troy, Rose punishes herself and Troy by breaking up with him instead of channeling the aggression towards Troy's lover. Rose, like Troy, lacks self-compassion and faith in her power. Troy's untimely death may have been the result of Rose's decision to break the relations, a decision driven by bitterness. So, despite wanting to protect her family and take care of her children and husband, Rose also can't handle the pressure of Troy's self-loathing. She contrasts self-sacrificing love with this hatred, but Rose's self-sacrifice cannot overcome the pain Troy feels. Building fences to save people. Equally important, throughout the play, Troy builds a fence around the house, and this fence symbolizes the emotional barriers in Troy's relationship with his sons, wife, and friends. Troy's illness seems to result from his pain and self-rejection. Troy, realizing and feeling this, opens up to Rose and admits that he fought the Grim Reaper. Rose supports Troy but cannot save him from death. The fence that was finished after Troy's death is a symbol of security and emptiness that Rose feels after her husband has gone. Rose tries to convince herself that this fence is built to protect family members, but to no avail. She no longer has to deal with her lover's pain and self-aggression, and this brings some relief and security to Rose's family relationships. However, the void that appeared in the place of Troy's self-condemnation is probably even more depressing. Despite her desire to take care of the children, Rose was unable to save the family and keep her husband from self-destruction. Corey feels the complexity of his parents' relationship and cannot find support in them. Remembering his father's aggression and negative attitude, he refuses even to go to the funeral, thus showing rebellion against the state of family relations that continue to exist despite Troy's death. Rose forbids such behavior, letting her son know that she loves Troy despite all the pain he's caused. Femininity. Interestingly, In all scenes, Rose's exceptional femininity can be traced, she seems to be simply unable to hate. Rose loves herself, loves Troy and their children, and tries to warm the whole world with this love. Rose preserves and passes on her love to her children, but Troy is too stubborn to seek comfort and support from his wife. Rose's femininity can be seen in her interactions with Troy, whom she is unable to offend by cruel word or deed, with Troy's companions, among whom she sometimes criticizes Troy for his tendency to invent and exaggerate, and with the children whom she teaches to love and forgive. Conclusion. Thus, it was discussed how Rose is a loving, caring, and independent woman, who acts as a true leader of her family. Rose makes the mistake of contrasting self-sacrifice to her husband's self-aggression after Troy's betrayal. This mistake is fatal, because left alone with self-loathing and pain, Troy contracts pneumonia and dies after a while. Rose is a strong woman, but like any human, she is prone to make mistakes. Rose managed to maintain loving relationships with her children, but this was not enough for marital happiness.